Good morning. Welcome to the JP8 report, episode 463. I am here, barely, and got to get my stuff set up here. It's a lot calmer morning than it usually is. Went to city council last night. That was rambunctious after everything's been going on with the water. I am clean. You can smell me. I'm clean. First shower. I served 25 years in the Army, almost 25. I've gone weeks without a shower. Huh. Believe me. Any of y'all veterans out there, you know that. We know what it feels like to be funky smelling, even with the bird bath. But this is the first shower I took about an hour ago in 2 days. 2 days. And it's been over 100 degrees every day. We're expecting 100-degree temperatures all the way through the 29th. And if you've been paying attention to my announcements, we have a range day with the Cory County Republican Party on the 29th, and it's supposed to be 100 degrees, and we're going to be at a gun range where when you sweat, it stings when it reaches your eyes. If you know, you know. But it felt good, right? We had a really good, there was a really good city council meeting. As you know, this is not my normal time to be on. The reason is, and we got so caught up on everything that was going on yesterday morning, like within the JP's morning brief, there was no politics in it all. All I did was talk about the city and the crisis they were in. And that crisis still isn't over. But we got water now, but there's a crisis of leadership. And if you are watching and you live in Coppers Cove, like I do, I did an open records act this morning, a FOIA a FOIA request. See, they're trying to kill me, right? Conspiracy. But I did an open records request because last night during their announcements, the mayor said I was in a Zoom meeting at 4 a.m. this morning. Really? So why was the mayor in a Zoom meeting? And who was in that meeting? And what did they talk about? And what medium was used for the meeting? You know what? He should have kept his mouth shut because Texas Open Meetings Act means that. Texas Open Meetings Act. So I would like to know if it was just the mayor and the city council, the city manager, we can go with that. But were there any city council members in that meeting also? So I did an open records request this morning about 20 minutes ago. So we will see where that leads. Okay, I'm gonna chase that squirrel because I would like to know if you're going like one of the people that said at the Citizens Forum last night. He paraphrased, if you're going to play the game, because we're not here for semantics and to play politics. Your job is to represent the people. Flat out, okay? And with that, let's get going with our other stuff, okay? Welcome to the JP8 report. Thank you very much for tuning in. We're episode 463. Cory Mills went down last night, didn't he? We'll be getting all of that too. There's more big political news besides Cory Mills losing his primary fight. Good for nothing, Stoller Valor. I'm glad he lost. I feel sorry that the president was put in a position where he had to endorse him, but people in Florida took care of business. But yeah, so click that follow button to follow the podcast. Get in there where that little bell is. Click the bell, or like this person I heard last week on Rumble, ding the bell, and go down there and click that follow button. And then right next to it, give us a thumbs up for the podcast today. And then jump into the chat. I'm here for 55 more minutes. We're going to raid into Vince in just about an hour. And then with that, we're going for... Oh, yeah, what I was going to tell y'all was that, man, I see it chasing squirrels again, right? So the reason I have a 9 o'clock meeting this morning was that, and we're doing the podcast at 6 o'clock this morning. So Friday, I filed for public office. And it's for the Central Appraisal District, Place 1 in Cory County. $200 filing fee. And then one of my friends, he filed for Place 3. His name is David Charquette. Okay? Nobody filed against us. We found out Monday evening, 4:30, filing period closed. No other people filed. Matter of fact, the place where I filed at is being held Place 1 by none other than Fred Chavez. That man is the one that beat me in 2018 on my city council race for re-election. But so I was all prepared to go up against him and win. But he told our elections person at the county that he had other things he's planning to do besides be on the CAT anymore. So I walked right in, and I'm taking his place in January. I'm not saying I beat a liberal, but the writing was on the wall. But I was unopposed, all right, because it was not an open seat. Because he had the chance to run for re-election and he didn't. So he's a liberal. He lives in Coppers Cove, and we already know he's going to do one of two things. He's going to run for mayor, or he's going to run for county commissioner. I have a feeling he's going to run for mayor next year. We'll see. If he lives in Precinct 3 in Cory County, he has a toss-up. Does he want to run in the primary, in the Democrat primary, because he's a Democrat, and then run against Ron Basham for Precinct 3, only if he lives there, or if he's just going to run for mayor in Coppers Cove. Now, I can tell you right now, he ain't going to run for county commissioner. We are, in this county, we are 70% Republican in this county. And Precinct 3 in Cory County is the reddest of all the precincts in if you send me an email, at the end I give you my email address. I will tell you I've got the breakdown from the last primary, how many Republicans voted in Precinct 3. It's a really uphill fight. But in Coppers Cove, the mayor election is at large, because it is the mayor. And Coppers Cove is 53% Republican, 47% Democrat. So we'll see where he wants to take this little game. All right. So yeah. So I got elected unopposed to the Central Appraisal District, and what they do, if you don't live in Texas, these are the people. Well, the board of directors, which I'm going to be on, oversees. We hire the chief appraiser. We set her budget for the entire office, and we just that's about all. There's a whole lot of stuff you can't do on the board of directors that you could probably do on the city council. So you're restricted, or you can't go in and tell people how much their property is worth, because that's not your job, right? And there's a whole slew of laws that you have to abide by to keep from doing that. All right, so let's get on to other things. Because we have a whole lot more election stuff to do. All right, so I have our America 250 moment for August 19th, 1776. I have a letter from George Washington to John Hancock. Sir, I have nothing of moment to communicate to Congress, as things are in the situation they were when I had last the honor of addressing them. By a letter from General Ward on the 12th, I find that Whitcomb's regiment on the 8th and Finney's regiment on the 9th marched from Boston to Ticonderoga. Governor Trumbull, also in a letter on the 13th, advised me that Ward's regiment in the service of the states was on the march to this army, and that he and the Council of Safety had, in the whole, ordered 14 militia regiments to reinforce us. 3 of them have arrived and mount to about 1,020 men. When the whole came in, it shall be a much more respectable footing than we have been. But I greatly fear if the enemy defer their attack for a considerable time, they will be extremely impatient to return home, and that they should. We shall be reduced to distress again. He also adds that Captain Van Buren, who had been sent for that purpose and procured a supply of sailcloth for the vessels to be employed in the lake and part of the corage in that state, and had the prospect of getting the remainder, as there will be difficulty in the probability to circulate the papers designed for the foreign troops, and many miscarriages may happen before it can be effected. It may be proper to furnish me with a larger quantity than I already have. In close, I have the honor to transmit you a general return of our whole force at this time, in which are comprehended the 3 regiments of militia above mentioned. I am sorry it should be so much weakened by sickness. The return will show you how it distresses me. I have the honor, sir, to be great respect your most obedient servant, George Washington. P.S. The post just now arrived and has brought a further supply of papers for the Hessians, which makes my requisition unnecessary. Okay, so that's your letter for the day. Okay, so now we have the armament shop. Whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need expert service, Jason at the Armament Shop is Copper's Cove's premier source for all things shooting. Browse our wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, backed by top-tier gunsmithing for repairs, along with reloading supplies and professional cleaning to keep your firearm in peak condition. Need a transfer? We make FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need your CHL? Jason can handle those classes both online and in person. He has over 3 decades of experience. Visit the Armament Shop today at 115A West Avenue D or in Copper's Cove, or call or text 254-560-2023, or visit www.armamentshop.com. That's www.armamentshop.com. The Armament Shop, your safety is our priority. All right. So now we have the Iran update. So the president said there's no ongoing negotiations with Iran at the time. The Department of War says the U.S. is ready to defeat any enemy, anytime, any place, and we have the munitions to do it. Oil prices are up. Iraq is now using alternate routes other than the Strait of Hormuz. Starting September 1st, they're going to be using routes to Syria and Turkey on 90-day contracts. All right. UAE freezes all trade with Iran until further notice due to 2 missiles that were fired yesterday. Iran is running out of options. That's as per a U.S. Marine Corps retired colonel. He said yesterday. U.S. places $10 million bounty on any Iranian hacker that attacks U.S. infrastructure. And IDF targets Gaza commanders and a commander of the October 7th massacre. They killed him. And then Iran's taunting the post-American order in the Strait of Hormuz after Trump said the Strait of Hormuz is open. All right. The stock market yesterday closed down 116.38 points. It closed at 53,343.40. West Texas Intermediate is trading at $85.38 a barrel. And Brent crude oil is trading at $91.47 a barrel. All right. So that is your Iran update for the day. All right. So we're going to go into our announcements. Our first announcement is the Cory County Republican women this coming Saturday. This coming Saturday at the Texas Station Event Center at 6 p.m. in Gatesville. They're having their third annual Boots and Bling fajita dinner from El Tapatio. There's a slew of cupcake giveaways and silent auction items, including a couple weapons. And we're going to have Steve Munisseri as the keynote speaker. All right, so that's all this coming Saturday at 6 p.m. You can still get tickets, okay? Next announcement is Pints and Politics in Gatesville on the 27th of August in Gatesville at Ranchers at the corner of 84 and 36. Starts at 6 p.m. The next one is what I was just talking about a while ago. The Republican Party of Cory County is having a Patriot Range Day at the Holly Gun Range just south of Gatesville on Bald Knob Road. It costs $20, all you can shoot. The armament shop will be out there. He's going to bring some extra weapons out there and extra ammo if you need to purchase ammo. So $20 at the Holly Gun Range. And since it's still going to be 100 degrees out, we got the cottage. We'll be able to use that at the same time. All right. Next announcement is Pints and Politics Pints and Politics on September 3rd in Belton at the Dead Fish Grill. This is the best of the Pints and Politics. All right. And it starts at 6 p.m. It's on Lake Road by Belton Dam. And then for our final announcement, we have our annual Cory County Republican Party Fish Fry at 6 p.m. At the Texas Station Event Center in Gatesville. We have two keynote speakers. We have Senator Pete Flores, SD24 for the state of Texas. And then also we have the RPT chairwoman, Dorinda Randall. All right. And then we're having catfish, compliments of our county commissioners because they're supposed to fry them up. All right. So, and then I got one more announcement. On the 31st of August, which is two announcements in, but the West Side Conservative Coalition will be having their regularly scheduled monthly meeting at Papa's Cafe in Harker Heights. Starts at 6 p.m. Their Liberty Bell Pack starts at 5. The regular meeting starts about 6 o'clock at Papa's Cafe in Harker Heights. All right. So election results from last night. So I don't know if anyone here was watching the election results, see what was happening in Florida and Alaska and Wyoming. Before I get into the Republican stuff, one really good piece of news came out last night. A Democrat lost. And you're like, James, Which Democrat are you talking about? Well, let me tell you. Back in 2019, President Trump was impeached for something he didn't do. Okay? We all know that. You know that. I know that. Democrats know that because they lied through their teeth. So, what it was at the current time, there was an Army Lieutenant Colonel named Alex Vindman. And he was communicating with Adam Shifty Schiff, right? He's now a U.S. Senator. He was a congressman back then. He lied through his good for nothing teeth, even as an Army officer, and lied about the President of the United States and got away with it. He retired from the Army. He gets the Army retirement check just like me. And a couple of years ago, he ran for Congress and got elected. Well, how short memories are. He actually ran for the nomination, the Democrat nomination in for the United States Senate in Florida against um, um, Senator Moody. Well, he got beat. Not only did he get beat, but he got beat bad. Okay, just like the song from Michael Jackson. And I'm not going to sing it, but uh, so he raised $16 million, and I believe he spent $9 million on his Senate campaign to run for the Democrat nomination in the United States Senate. And he ran against Angela Nixon. Well, Angela Nixon is a severe DSA candidate, and she spent less than $1 million and beat Alex Vindman. I mean, I was celebrating about Cory Mills getting beat. But this was a nail biter. Well, it wasn't a nail biter. He got beat. And so when they're like, well, how did $9 million fare for you in your campaign? It sucks because he didn't come to the game. So he's done. In January, they always talk about the Republicans that lose their primary elections. But what about these Democrats that lose theirs? These media people, to include Fox News, is so biased toward trying to favor the opposition during the midterms. That is why you have such a huge turnover when it comes to midterm elections, because no matter if you're a Republican leaning outlet or Democrat leaning outlet, you romanticize the opposition going up to fight the powers that be. And they ratchet up the rhetoric so high that, hey, I'll go vote Democrat. Oh, not I, because I wouldn't do that in my last dying breath. But it did, right? But so Alex Vindman got beat. And Angela Nixon, your days are numbered too, because they were talking this morning about voter turnout in Florida. So there was Angela Nixon got about 700,000 votes last night in the Democrat primary, but Ashley Moody, she got 1.3 million voters last night in a contested primary. So, well, boy, it's done, right? Uh, so, yeah, Alex Vindman, welcome to the world of Army retirement, because your political career is over. All right. So other election related materials, and we got some articles to go over. It's already 25 minutes after the hour. Byron Donalds beat Jay Collins last night for the gubernatorial nomination from the Republican Party. I've met Jay Collins before. He's lieutenant governor right now. He He's a great guy. He's a combat vet. He lost his leg due to his service in the Army. Um, and he's got multiple combat tours. I believe he's Special Forces and a Sergeant Major. Um, but and then when um, I don't know why he's the lieutenant governor. Well, he's the lieutenant governor. Uh, but Ron DeSantis got him the run for the U.S. Senate, and he lost. Byron Donalds is going to be the first black governor of the state of Florida. He is fully qualified to do it. Matter of fact, I believe he was a financial analyst before he became the congressman. So he's ready. He won his race last night, 47-25. And then over on the Senate side, Ashley Moody was running against Gleason, and her opponent didn't even show up basically because Moody won 80-14%. Florida's 7th congressional district. Woo, doggy. So Elijah, what's his first name? I think it's John. Oh, Ryan Elijah, right? He's a former TV reporter. B. Cory Mills, 47-34 last night. So Cory Mills is done, like I was talking about. He went down in flames. In Wyoming for senator, you had Hagerman. She won handily, 62-31%. And in Alaska, you had Dan Sullivan, the real Dan Sullivan, and Mary Patola advancing along with the fake Dan Sullivan and another politician advancing to the ranked choice, which is totally unconstitutional. But ranked choice members, the top 4 in Alaska, advanced to the November gubernatorial election or the senatorial election. All right. So it's like, oh yeah, that's my first article I'm going to read. So those, I thought it was, oops, daisy. Oh, because I didn't put it in, I didn't write it in. Okay, but those are your announcements for elections. So in terms of news articles, okay, in the last 30 minutes we have for this morning, right? The first one is about Dan Sullivan. Because this just came out just a little while ago. Because there was the thing, and I was going to name the podcast this morning. Will the real Dan Sullivan please stand up? All right. So Mary Patola is the only Democrat that's ever won statewide in Alaska history, right? Well, in the last 50 years. And then Dan S. Sullivan, is running for re-election, right? Even though I believe, no, I won't go there. But and then the Democrats somehow got another Dan Sullivan to run for the Senate. And so Dan Sullivan, the real Dan Sullivan, thought, okay, so can we please get this other guy out of the race because he's a fake Republican and he's trying to run on my name, which is going to cost a vote. The guy got 2.5% of the vote last night. And he's a retired school teacher, don't have any political experience. And they proved that there was back channel support to get him to run for the Senate and to confuse voters at the polls to who the real Daniel Sullivan was. All right. And he still got 2.6% of the vote. And that's the fake Dan Sullivan, right? So 4 candidates advance out of the, so they do a jungle primary just like California does, except for they take the top 4 instead of the top 2. And they use ranked choice voting, which is going to be on a November ballot for doing away with it. We use it in a few things here in Texas, which it shouldn't be. It should be straight up vote yes or no. But so yeah, they use the ranked choice voting. So it goes Patola, Sullivan, and then Sullivan, and I don't know who the other person was. Maybe they'll run another court challenge to try to get him out, right? Since he only got, I think it was technically 1.6% of the vote. All right. So 4 candidates advanced out of California's nonpartisan jungle primary on Tuesday evening in one of the races that could decide the balance of power. They put that in all their political articles. Senator Dan Sullivan and former Representative Mary Patola will advance alongside 2 other candidates in the state's 4-candidate general election. The outcome, which pits incumbent Republican against the only Democrat to win statewide office in 50 years, is in line with what many expected, but it also highlights the unique nature of Alaska primary, as well as attempts to use its process to confuse voters. Alaska uses the top 4 nonpartisan primary, followed by ranked choice voting in the general election, a system also sometimes referred as the instant runoff. Unlike under this system, voters rank their preferred candidates in the top. If the top of the choice is unlimited, their support passes to the next ranked leader. While supporters of the process argue it expands power of voters, it greatly increases the influences of candidates that may not otherwise be a top choice. Its critics, like Sullivan, believe it also induces confusion. Like many others who do not support the ranked choice voting in 2020, I still believe that its new election system has created unnecessary confusion among voters, he told voters in 2024. And then fears that confusion rose earlier this year when news broke that Alaska's primary would feature 2 candidates with the exact same first and last names. So when Daniel James Sullivan filed, he did not list a party affiliation because they do nonpartisan, but they didn't do it because the Patola campaign were funding her campaign and using his name with another likeness of him. It's to totally confuse voters. That's all it is. And ranked choice voting is on the ballot for this coming November. And Elon Musk has already given like $1.5 or $2.5 million to get it erased from all existing memories. All right. So if you live in Alaska, vote for the correct Michael Sullivan. All right. For U.S. Senate. Now we're going to move over to Wyoming. So we all know 4 years ago that Liz Cheney left Congress, right? I think it was 4 years ago. So she left and was replaced by Harry Hegman, right? And she got elected. So if you don't know anything about Wyoming, Wyoming only has 1 congressional representative. It's called the District of Wyoming, just like the same as with Alaska. They only got 1, right? Hold on. Oh, I hate this. Okay, it doesn't want to go. All right. So Senator Cynthia Loomis is retiring at the end of this term. So Ms. Hegman jumped at the chance to run for the Senate seat. I don't have Oh yeah, she won by 31 points last night. Um, so Wyoming Republicans chose Harriet Hagman on Tuesday for their nominee for the U.S. Senate in a race to succeed retiring Republican Senator Cynthia Lummis. Lummis, elected in 2020 after serving 4 terms in the U.S. House, announced that she would not seek a second term, opening up the seat to one of the nation's most reliably Republican states. Hagman emerged from a 5-way Republican primary featuring former Kirby Mayor Sam Mead, Jim Edwards, John Holtz, and former environmental services business owner Jimmy Savard. Hagman is the country's most in the country's most red state based on registered voter percentages, entered the race as the best known and best funded candidate in the field. She is seeking a promotion to the upper chamber. President Trump endorsed Eggman and also backing her successful 2022 campaign to unseat Liz Cheney in the Republican House primary. Now serving in her second term, Wyoming's lone U.S. House member. Hagman rose to national prominence with her victory over Cheney. Cheney became Trump's toughest target in 2022 after she served on one of the only 2 Republicans on the House committee investigating January 6th riots alongside a fellow GOP Adam Kinzinger, who did not seek re-election that year. So Hagman's only been in office 2 years. Well, who cares? She's running for the United States Senate, and she deserves your vote. So if you live in Wyoming, I only know a couple. Vote for Hagman for U.S. Senate. All right. Oh yeah, that's the end of it. All right. Man, it feels like the AC is not working in here. Maybe I need to put the thermostat in here, right? Some people do stuff like that. So Cory Mills. Who here knows Cory Mills? Put it in the chat if you know him. But Cory Mills, Nancy Mace has been going all at him, right? He's been under ethics investigation. He had the chance a few months ago to resign from Congress. And, he was going to get a Republican in there anyway. But he wanted to tough it out, even though what he did was bad. And plus, he's a stolen valor person. People can't even verify Cory Mills' DD Form 214. And that's the truth. And, personally, that DD 214 is his personal to him. He didn't have to show it to anyone. But they had reservations that he was actually a special forces soldier and whether he was actually. Oh man, I lost my train of thought. But he thought he was a special. He had money issues. They were acting like he was portraying himself as a special forces and with the Bronze Star, right? And all that was proven wrong. And then he had some moral stuff wrong with him too. But like no one's perfect anyway in that matter. But he got beat last night by 13 points. All right. So we won't have him to go anymore anyway. Man, I am burning up. Hey, give me a second here. I'll be right back, okay? I'm going to put on mute. I'm going to just check that AC real quick. Okay, I'm back. Dude, that was it's 75 degrees set that thing on. So it must have been like 78, 79 degrees in this room. Oh my goodness, man. Okay, so I'm back. Oh, it already feels good. Whew. All right. Man, I did not want to doze off and go like this due to overheating from, but yeah, the the temperature on the thermostat in the hallway is set at 75 degrees. Yeah. So I just brought that thing all the way down to 72. I believe it's 72 I set it at. Yeah, I was on my way of like going. I was going, almost gone. All right, so President Trump obviously he endorsed Cory Mills, right? Because um, he's a decisive person. But it started coming out that he had massive problems with him, including Nancy Mace came out against him. Did you see Nancy Mace? She actually showed. I would never put it past her, right? And I don't hold it against people, but people like to get tattoos, right? I don't have any at all. None hidden, nothing, right? We can compare battle scars if you want, but you ain't gonna see no tattoos on me. Uh, but Nancy Mace actually wore a sleeveless shirt, and she has a variety. I think she said she has 9 tattoos on her arms. I mean, whoa. Uh, Sometimes you're when you have a perception about someone, um, and I know how she is because I remember a couple years ago she's going to a national prayer breakfast, and she was. I tell you right now, I know we're supposed to be talking about Cory Mills and other stuff because we're going to run out of time, but she was almost late for national prayer breakfast, and she opened up her mouth and told everyone, "Hey, I was almost late because me and my boyfriend or fiance, one of the two, we were getting uh, frisky before we got up, and then I had to push him away because." Hey, I had to be at this meeting. I'm like, oh my goodness, why are you telling everybody this? But yeah, so over the weekend, she actually showed up because she's outgoing member of Congress. So she actually opened up her Facebook so people could see her actual Facebook page, I guess, and they saw pictures of her with tattoos on her, which you can't hold that against her. People get tattoos for different reasons and stuff, but I would never have perceived that Nancy Mace would have. But she accused Cory Mills of doing some inappropriate stuff, right? Not to her, but to other people. And there's evidence on that. And he had financial stuff he was doing, and he had his military record. Lots of stuff was standing up. So he did get beat by a TV news reporter, right? So Cory Mills uh, lost his bid for a third term representing the 7th Congressional District um, in Florida as a House Ethics Committee investigation and alleged federal probe weighed down on his candidacy. The winner in the race was Ryan Elijah, a former Orlando area news anchor for Fox Chapter 35 and a former NFL reporter. Uh, and Elijah lives in Seminole County with his wife, where the pair have 2 sons, according to their campaign website. The win is undoubtedly an upset victory against Mills, who held a sizable lead in multiple polls leading into primary night, um, and earned the most important and coveted. So Cory Mills was supposed to win according to these polls, but he ended up losing. That is why all these poll companies need to go away. As a matter of fact, we'll go more into that in just a minute, as long as I don't run out of time. All right. So, congratulations to Ryan Elijah on defeating one of the most hated people in the Republican Party because Cory Mills, dude, Are you really special forces? And dude, do you really have a Bronze Star medal? Right? So those are the two things I was concerned with him. But he's going to go back into doing something after he gets done with Congress in January. Byron Donalds. Uh, Byron Donalds won his nomination to be the next governor of Florida. He had endorsement of President Trump. He won with 49% of the vote, which is what I reported earlier, 47%. And Jay Collins, and another really good guy. I hope he doesn't discount his future in the Republican Party because he's it, right? And they really didn't go at each other very much either, so that was good. It shows how gentlemanly people can be in some of these political races. But yeah, so congratulations to Byron. You're going to make another dynamite governor just like Ron DeSantis. Just don't forget about the people voting for you and go out and win in November. All right. So next one is, you know what? Since we were just talking about polls, we're going to skip. Did you hear about the fake poll that went out in California in May? Seriously, there was a fake poll that was published. Good morning, Covite for Life. I just saw that he chimed in. Good morning. Thank you. Welcome to the live chat. Missed you at the city council MMA last night. Well, it wasn't really MMA, but it was a mouthful. So a polling outfit that admitted surveys it released on Los Angeles' mayor race and the Democratic gubernatorial primary in Wisconsin were fake, and is now out of business. Median Strategies, the company that released polls indicating Democrat Mayor Karen Bass and Wisconsin gubernatorial candidate Francesca Hong leading their rivals by wide margins, announced this week that the surveys were a hoax and that it closed its doors. The fabrication of polls by Median Strategy entered in the political information ecosystem and were reported on social media by some local TV newscasts and by online reporting outlets. Median Strategies was created as a short-term social experiment to examine how purported polling information could enter through and spread through the political information ecosystem without independent verification. Median Strategies has concluded its polling project and will not publish additional polls. The company told Fox News the organization was not affiliated with any candidate, political action committee, or party. Well. You can't throw a piece of wood 3 feet in front of you without hitting a poster. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of podcasters out here, including me. But man, you watch TV and you see poll after poll after poll after poll, and you see them. Some are up, some are down, some are medium, some are up, some are down, some are medium. You're like, oh my God, do we have a country full of undecided people? Who are they calling? How are they calling them? What is the breakdown in parties? Sometimes they announce that stuff. It's called methodology. But evidently, they didn't do it with this one because it was a fake poll, right? But when you do a poll and you publish a said poll and you say, hey, this candidate is way up front. So what do people do when they see a candidate with way up in the polls? They said, I want to be situated with the winner. So they go and vote for Karen Bass and leave Spencer Pratt in the dust, right? Because they lied through their teeth on a poll. Same thing with Hong. Hong, she was polling high, right? But the rhetoric came out so much about her really high poll numbers, people bailed on her. She barely lost her primary. She was holding on for dear life at the very end, but she lost. Uh, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but I'm telling you, these polls, there's too many of them, and I know they got the freedom of speech, but man, there's no really stuff that you can really talk about with a poll except for tell what's in it, right? And some of these newscasters look for stuff that they can actually broadcast, or they sign off the air, or they just go out of business, right? Or become an opinionated show. But yeah, this was a fake poll, and it was used to influence the campaign in Wisconsin and in the campaign in California, in which Spencer Pratt finished third place in May. He should have been second place or even first, but this is what the left does to take care of business, right? It's already 6:52. Okay, I have to get set up for the raid, so give me a second to catch my voice. All right, man, it sure feels good now. I'm telling you. Feel bad that y'all saw me wearing shorts because I wasn't wearing jeans this morning. So to give y'all a quick preview on Vince, Fauci's right-hand man pleads guilty. That's the headline from Vince. That's going to be going on in just a couple minutes. All right. So I'm all set up for the raid. All right. So, yeah. So fake polls go nowhere. All right. So I can tell you about that. So about Copper's Cove. So when I was on the city council, we got these ugly medians in the center of our road, in our thoroughfare, right? And they make life horrible here. Ricky can tell you that. Uh, he'll tell you exactly how those medians are on 190. They stink to high heaven, right? So I when we were debating it when I was on the city council, I polled 100 people walking from business to business in Copper's Cove, right? And like 85% of them, 85 people out of 100, and I told other city council members, 85 people out of 100 said no, they do not want medians in Copper's Cove, right? And then the Mr. Stockard, I think that's his name, but he's Parks and Rec superintendent now, but he was the deputy police chief before then, and he came back and said, "I have 95% of the people that want medians," but he didn't tell people the methodology. Well, how many people did you poll to come up with that high percentage number? Right? Were they what time of day? What were they at? Who were they? Because I was the only one that gave real numbers for the poll I took, but he didn't. And history is to see what happened because we got medians, and he was pro median because they were saying it's a safety issue. Well, if you look at the crime stats and accident stats before the medians and after the medians, you'll see that nothing really has changed. Maybe 10%. That's all, right? Was it worth the millions of dollars that were spent to build that? All right. So, yeah, down with fake polls. What we got? 6:55. We're almost out of time. Uh, Late last night, President Trump announced that there's going to be a 3-day pause in the 50% tariffs that are supposed to go into effect last night. Uh, he said that he was pausing it. Uh, said the two countries, Canada and the U.S., have come to an agreement, and they just need a little bit more time to iron out the details of said agreement. So it looks like the 50% tariff is not going to go into effect. Uh, so I have paused 50% tariffs against Canada that were scheduled to kick in today, uh, for a 3-period day, based on the facts that Canada and the U.S., subject to the finalization of documents, have a deal. President Trump wrote that on True Social. The great Keystone XL pipeline, long ago killed by sleepy Joe Biden, may be awoken from the grave. President Trump said took questions from the Oval Office. The duties that would have been collected, roughly $20 billion in Canadian imports, including liquor, dairy, vehicles, hockey equipment, and other goods. Um, and then the president spoke with Mark Carney on Monday night and spoke with him again on Tuesday afternoon, according to Fox News. They say it's a developing story, so I'm pretty sure it's all over the news wires right now. 6:57. All righty. And then President Trump won in court. If you're Ethiopian and you have been granted temporary protective status, your days are numbered in our country because you are going home, right? A U.S. District Judge Brian Murphy in Boston lifted a temporary hold on a decades-old temporary protective program, which allowed Ethiopian nationals to live and work legally in the U.S. as their home country was considered unsafe. Last year, DHS determined that Ethiopia no longer met the conditions for TPS, asserting its conditions in the country have improved. So that removes the final legal hurdle to prevent them from being sent home. Okay? Have fun in Ethiopia. And the last thing I got other stuff, but I can go over that tomorrow. So one of the president's endorsees in Indiana is Chris Garden, and he is going to be the Senate president in Indiana when he gets sworn in. He was endorsed by President Trump. Congratulations, Indiana State Senator Chris Garden, who I was proud to endorse on being unanimously voted by his colleagues to be the next Senate. Well, that included even Democrats. Isn't that great? So that was really good. So it's 6:59. I'm going to let y'all go. But congratulations on Chris Garden on being this new Senate president in Indiana. All right. I hope everybody has a great day. Thank y'all very much for participating in the what do you call it, the JP8 report. Man, it's way early for this. All right, so y'all have a great day. I'm gonna rate over to Vince, and this is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I will catch you on the flip side. I'm out, and these are my socials. All right. So we got 11 seconds, 10 seconds to Vince. Y'all have a great morning. All right. I'm out.